So, we just saw that project-based learning is for all. It is helpful for all-round development of students. PBL is a good learning method. Now, let's get going. We are going to have a panel discussion with the subject experts and former students of Jnana Prabodhini. We are going to discuss about the intricacies of project-based learning and why it is important for students as well as teachers. Let's welcome Dr. Swapnita Date and Sri Akash Saukase from the United States and Dr. Aditya Pongshe from Spain to the panel. Namaste. Now, I would like to introduce all the panelists. Swapnita is an award-winning researcher and senior scientist at Vanderbilt University, the United States. She has more than 8 years of experience of conducting multidisciplinary research in molecular biology, biophysics, and biotechnology. She is a science educator, and her work in popularization of science is commendable. She is a former student of Jnana Prabodhini. She is also the founder and advisor at My Science Boutique, a science fashion brand loved by thousands of teachers and scientists. But watch out, if you talk to her for too long, her passion for science will inspire you to become a scientist yourself one day. Next, we have Dr. Aditya Pongshe with us. Aditya is currently working as a postdoctoral researcher in Spain. He completed his PhD in evolutionary ecology from Australia. It is a field within ecology and evolution and studies the interactions between different species. In his long-standing affiliation with Jnana Prabodhini, he has worked as a mentor for projects and helped numerous students. He has been interacting with students and teachers across India on project-based learning through various PBL camps organized by Jnana Prabodhini. Apart from research, I would like to share that he's a great artist and also a cricket enthusiast like most of us. Welcome Aditya to the panel. Last but not the least, we have Sri Akash Saukase. Akash is a doctoral fellow at Purdue University, the United States, where he studies how to make learning more effective. He is a former student of Jnana Prabodhini Pune and has a diverse teaching experience of over 13 years. More importantly, he is the co-editor of the book, Learning to Explore Project by Project, which we are launching today. Apart from his expertise in education domain, I would like to tell you that he is a great orator, also an energetic and motivated leader. He has literally interacted with thousands of students from Arunachal to Ahmedabad and from Kargil to Kanyakumari. It's great to have you, Akash, today. So let's move on to panel discussion. First, I want to go to Aditya. Aditya, you have mentored several projects, and many students across India are listening to you right now. Would you explain what is really meant by doing a project? Tell us some examples.
Thank you, Saurabh. Uh, yes, so when we discuss about projects, first we need to understand that doing projects is not merely Googling information about some topic and presenting it on charts and PPTs. It's much more than that. It is about creating, making, solving problems, investigating questions, analyzing trends, forecasting scenarios, and so on, right?
True.
So during this exploration, we go through many experiences. In addition to subject content, we acquire skills that are not directly related with the project subject as such. So we
Yes.
can do projects in any subject. In fact, projects are idea driven. So we need to learn and acquire whatever project demands at that time. And so project makes subject boundaries and syllabus boundaries more flexible. But coming up with meaningful and doable projects is project ideas is not easy. So let's see a few project examples here, so it's more clear. So these examples are from different domains. Most of them are from class 6 to 10 students. So for annual projects, ideas should be challenging enough to keep students engaged for 8 to 9 months. But how do we get these ideas? So ideas come from being curious, from asking questions to what we observe and experience. You must have seen that some plants close their leaves at night, right? A group of students from class 9 came up to me with questions like, do plants show something like jet lag? What happens if we change their daylight cycle? I was like, these are fantastic questions, but I don't know what this plant species do. So let's explore it. So they searched literature, made systematic experimental designs with the help of teacher, and completed a wonderful project. So they took months to come up with this idea. They were frustrated about how much time it was taking for them to come up with good questions. Now, as a teacher, when students are frustrated, we should not rush and feed them everything ready made. We should let them take their time, but we should be well prepared to step in whenever needed with alternative ideas and possible directions towards solution. So that means as a teacher, we need to be well equipped with plenty of ideas. Project ideas can be about finding solutions to day-to-day problems. For example, one group of students had a disabled family member. So they used to live on top floor and had no elevator. So students wanted to design a device that can safely take that person without elevator. Now in this project, the problem was real and close to students' day-to-day experience. They may not be able to make the final product, but they think over about this problem, search what people have done about it, attempt to make various prototype models, compare their effectiveness. So they may end up making something that is already there at large, but they learn a lot during this process. Projects should be meaningful to students. While learning history, a group of students wanted to know history of area where they live, history of old temples in their place, history of their weekly bazaar. They wanted to find whether their village is associated with any significant historical events or not. While doing this, they interacted with various people, experts, gathered data, played with various softwares that deal with maps, and in this process,
Mhm.
explored new things. As a teacher, we should explicitly discuss with students what they are learning. Such reflective discussions are crucial to keep students on track. I remember while doing a project in language, a student did a verse by verse translation of a famous Sanskrit text and created equivalent Marathi verses. It was very difficult. Teacher first thought it is too much for student, but teacher was open enough. Student eventually came up with excellent translation. If as a teacher we feel that some students are passionate enough and persistent about something, like really persistent about something, and if we give them space, especially when we are unsure about that idea as a project, many times students do surprise us. So these are some examples that I can give right now. I won't share more due to limited time, but there are many. I hope you have got the gist of doing projects. I feel
Yes,
that it is
definitely.
I feel that it is important to create encouraging environment that motivates students to ask
Mhm.
questions, come up with ideas, take up these ideas and explore them with the help of teachers. Once students are excited, motivated, and own ideas, they get actively involved in it and do wonders. Now let's watch a video where student is sharing experiences about her project.
Hello, myself Aishwarya Abhyankar, and today I'll be telling you all the process of my 8th standard creative writing project. I would divide the process into 5 main steps. 1. Finalizing the idea. I observed that teenagers like me read a lot of English fiction, but there was no teen fiction available in my mother tongue Marathi. So I decided to write a historical fiction in Marathi. This was also a small attempt of mine to increase awareness about the rich culture and heritage of India. Then I decided to include in my novel things that I am really passionate about. For example, fire, stone temples, etc. 2. Working on the plot. I made a flowchart of all the events that were to happen in my novel. I had to be extra careful as there were flashbacks as well. The characters were equally important. Each character had to be unique, and most importantly, they had to evolve along the story. I had to see to it that they end up better than they were before. Next were the specifics of the story. I had to finalize the places where the story would unfold and also certain details like the clothing and language of the characters. 3. Writing. This was the most difficult and tedious stage where I had to create something that was completely mine. Nature and history became my inspiration whenever I was at a writer's block. 4. Rewriting. You cannot stop when you have written the story once. You have to reread, rewrite, and repeat unless and until you are satisfied. I wrote all 47 chapters of my novel 3 times by hand and later edited them countless times on the computer. Changing even one word or one paragraph can make a lot of difference, and certain situations need to be elaborated further to ensure that the reader understands you perfectly well. 5. Presentation. We had to display our projects in our yearly exhibition, and for that, I had written my novel by hand. I used different colors for dialogues, important paragraphs, proper nouns, etc. Later on, I added sketches of the characters and of certain places. The journey continues. I worked even more on the language and illustrations in the lockdown period, and I published the book on Amazon Kindle. The name of my book is Tapta Pavan Agni Divya, which translates to the auspicious test of fire. What I have learned. 1. The importance of perseverance. No matter how many times you write and rewrite, you can always be better. 2. Looking at things from the other side. You know the plot, but your readers don't. And 3. Writing is fun. Lastly, I would like to share with you a small promotional video I made when I released the book on Kindle.
Amazing. This success story of a go-getter is inspiring to all the students. Also, thank you, Aditya, for joining us today and sharing your experience. You talked about several projects spanning from science, language to history. I would like to share that more examples and case studies are elaborated in our book that we are going to launch today. After understanding what PBL is and its importance for students, I want to hear it from a teacher. As you all know, in India, we recently adopted a new education policy and it stresses on PBL. I want to ask 2 questions to you, Akash. First, is PBL really useful? And is it implementable at the school level?
Saurabh, these are very important questions, and let me give you categorical answers. Yes and yes. It is extremely useful, and I'm not saying it just in the air. The new education policy mentions exploratory learning, exploration, experiential learning, and project-based learning 18 times in just 66 pages. And many other times word interdisciplinary learning has been mentioned in second section, that's higher education policy. It is absolutely critical that we move our attention to project-based learning, which is a very effective tool of learning from doing, learning from experiences, activity-based learning, hands-on learning, so on and so forth. As you said in the introduction, it is good learning science. And why should we do that? What is the relevance? What is the usefulness? So it is twofold, I'll say. First, see, the future of jobs is changing every day.
True.
Artificial intelligence, data science, machine learning, and many other new fields that were not even available when we were in schools, right? So 15 years ago, when I was in schools, I didn't know I will do something that is called as machine learning or data science or big data or anything like that. So today's kids in schools are learning content, yes, but are they learning transferable skills? And schools should ensure that they develop transferable skills. And what are these schools? Like, we are immersed under a load of information from all the sides. The biggest skill is today that is relevant to all of us is how we make meaning out of this immense volume of information. And how do we do that? So project-based learning is one such way where we actually help our learners learn how to learn. And the new education policy focuses on learning to learn. The second question, before going to the second question, I'll say, but it is not only related to future of jobs. It is also related to character building, because that is an immensely important goal of education, character building. You should be able to work with people you don't agree with. You should be able to create something positive, socially meaningful. Where are these opportunities to develop these skills? And that is exactly what PBL is going to help us do. We heard Aishwarya talk about perseverance, working from failures, accepting failures, trying, not losing hope. All of these are useful in character building, and that is what we need at this hour of time. Before going to the second question, which is about, is it implementable? I think we should go to a teacher himself. I want to invite Dr. E. Prasad Rao from Telangana to answer how they implemented PBL in their schools. And they have been doing it since last 3 years. Let's hear Dr. E. Prasad Rao from Telangana.
Sure.
Namaste. Paramita Group of Schools, Iris World School and Explorica, established in Karimnagar, Telangana, are the schools of a different type altogether. In these schools, kids have time, space, scope for exploration, exploring into different vistas of knowledge. Our systems, our processes, teachers, leaders, and parents are all wedded to a philosophy where the kid can discover his own potential through experiencing, exploration, and expression. As a policy, we have undertaken various programs. One such program is project-based learning. We've introduced this 3 years ago, and students from grade 1 to 9, sometimes 10 also, they go through this project-based learning mode across the year, every year. So in the last 3 years, this project-based learning has really helped our kids discover their true potentialities, empowered them, and improved their skills. Today, the capacities of the kids are so good that they can solve a problem, they can go for critical thinking and analysis, they can observe things very, very microscopically, they can analyze, they can gather information, they can go through a questioning process, like many, many things. So the skill set that the kids are learning are really amazing. Now, today the kids can take up any project, maybe investigatory project, maybe model making, maybe collection, maybe thematic project, whatever it is. Our kids are actually really doing a fabulous job in exploring different vistas of learning. All this happened 3 years ago because we have come into the partnership with Gyan Prabodhini. The entire Gyan Prabodhini team has come forward to support and scaffold Paramita Group of Schools in project-based learning. So this 3 years course, 3 years journey has been so fabulous, so fantastic. with the skills of the kids and even the teachers going up like anything. So after 3 years, I can only say that when a new national education policy talks about project-based learning, now Paramita Group of Schools, Iris World School and Experca are ready to explore further and integrate the mainstreams of curriculum. So thank you Gyan Prabodhini, thank you Prashant and team, thank you Paramita, Iris World School and Experca team. I wish you all the best.
That was indeed inspiring. Do you want to add anything, Akash?
Yes, so we heard teachers are doing this. And this is just one case from Telangana. I know teachers from Assam and Arunachal who are trying hard to do this in their schools. It is undoubtedly not the easiest thing. I mean, I want to say it will be a challenge to implement this in the schools. However, it is not impossible. And like Dr. Prasad Rao said, we can do it over the period of time. And I want to highlight one last part, that education policy, the new education policy categorically mentions that teachers are at the center of the educational reform in India. Therefore, in order to implement project-based learning, exploratory learning in our schools today, we need a paradigm shift in our thinking about teaching and learning. Teaching and learning is a collaborative process. It's a partnership between two parties, students and teachers. And that is where we need to start. With this, I will take your leave. Thank you so much for having me on this panel. Thank you, Saurabh.
True. Thank you, Akash, for encouraging all the students and teachers. And as you said, PBL is for everyone, and it's a habit to inculcate. Now, I want to draw everyone's attention to the title of this webinar, that is Learning to Explore Project by Project. So clearly, it's a continuous process. I'm eager to hear from Swapnita. We would like to know more about this and how you became a scientist.
Hi, Sarah. That's an interesting question. Actually, when growing up, I think I wanted to become a diplomat. But as I went on learning more and more about biology, I just fell in love with it. So, Saurabh, let me ask you, do you think we have bacteria inside our body?
Yes, there are.
How many do you think?
10 lakh? 10 lakh?
Well, let me tell you, we have around 100 trillion bacteria inside our body, which are almost 3 times as many as the human cells. So these facts like this, that just fascinate me. And if you think about it, it's more interesting are people who say, let me find out how many bacteria do I have inside my body. So like when I think back, I think my shift towards becoming a scientist, it unfolded through project-based learning. I went through the PBL model myself. When I was in school, I did a project, River Futurology, where our job was to analyze the past, analyze the data from the present, and then predict the future of all the rivers in Pune. And like we worked so hard collecting samples and submitting them for analysis, but I forgot to label my samples. When we got back the data, I had no idea which sample was which because I forgot to label them. And I learned an important lesson that day. These days in lab, I process like 50 to 100 samples every day. And people around me, they are amazed. How do I handle everything? But this is a skill that I learned in school during project-based learning. If someone would have told me back then that I'll be helping find answers to COVID-19, I would have never believed them. Similarly, like for another project I was working on, we worked so hard collecting data only to realize that it was already published out there. So that is something experience taught me. Do a careful analysis of what is known out there before jumping into the project. So as I said, like this fascination of knowing something we don't know and this continuous process of learning is why and how I think I became a scientist.
Amazing story. Swapnita, we have more than 1,000 members here with us today, and some of them are very young, some of them are grown up. So who should use PBL?
That's an interesting question. I think project-based learning is for everyone. Seriously, now let's think about it. Like in winter, when you get cold, you put on a sweater. So you had a problem and you found a way to solve it. You may wear a sweater and realize that it's too itchy. Then you do kind of different experiment. You try different detergent, or maybe buy a sweater from completely different store. Or if you want to get into even more serious science, you can invent a new fabric material that won't be itchy and that will keep you warm. So this is an example of everyday project. You don't have to be inside a lab, or you don't have to be a scientist to be doing projects. So, and I agree, like Akash said, project-based learning is complicated because you're always learning, always questioning, and importantly, you're always making mistakes. But I think that is the most fun part about it. You wake up not knowing something, and by the end of the day, you may have found an answer to that, or you may have discovered something completely new. For example, a new sweater. So I think student, teacher, or even scientist, I think project-based learning is for everyone. And it can sound intimidating, but once you learn what project-based learning is, it can actually be very, very fun. Everything around you can be a project, sweater, cooking, or even time with your friends. It can be a social experiment. So keep learning, keep enjoying, and just enjoy.
That was great, Swapnita. Thank you. Thank you for inspiring all the students and teachers. And thank you all the panelists for the insightful discussion. I'm sure all the students and teachers must have learned a lot from your experiences. I would like to summarize what we discussed in today's panel. First, PBL is for all, and it teaches you to own up the idea. It may look complex, as Swapnita said, but it is fun learning, and everything is what is happening around you. As Aditya said, doing projects is exploring things, and it's a continuous process. And you have to keep observing. You don't need to become a scientist, you already are.